Hi, I'm Mark, this is On Your Marks Run. Today I'm down at Eastbourne to do the Beachy Head Ultra Marathon. Hi, welcome back to the channel. It's Saturday morning and we're on the start line of the Beachy Head Ultra Marathon. There's 3 different distances today, and the Ultra is the first to set off at 7:40, followed by the Marathon at 8:45, then the 10k shortly after that. So just a quick look at the Ultra route today, which is a combination of the 10k loop followed by the Marathon. We start at the Bede School, climb up that huge hill, across the Beachy Head Road and through the Cornish Farm before heading left towards the Belle Tout and the Beachy Head Cliffs. We then make our way along the cliffs to the top of Beachy Head, passing the pub and heading back to the start. Halfway down that huge hill at the start, we turn onto the marathon course and take in the various sites and villages such as Jevington, Lullington Heath, the Long Man, Alfriston, Peep, Litlington, West Dean, Exeat, the Seven Sisters Country Park, Birling Gap, and then for the second time Beachy Head before heading to the finish. This is a tough course over the South Downs, which is about 4,000 feet of total ascent, but the conditions are quite good today, just a slight breeze with some light rain. So we're all in the start pen, ready to go and waiting for the race director to get us all underway.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is the Beachy Head Ultra, 50k of running. Might feel like an early start, but it's necessary. Good luck, let's see them off. Give me your support as they head off across the line.
Well, that's it, we're off and running. Most of us are across the line. We've just done that short section of road before we start climbing onto the downs. This really is an aggressive start. It's probably the most aggressive start of a race that I've ever done. Certainly those first 50 yards are really tough. It's a 20% slope, so that really is hard. When you look around, most people are sort of walking and marching at that small section, but once you get past those first 50 yards, that slope is less than 10%, so it's a little bit easier. You can start to just break into a jog and start making your way to the top of this first long hill. So we're just over half a mile in now. We've got to the top of that hill and we're just making our way to the Beachy Head Road. It's all flattened out quite nicely. In fact, once we've got to the road, we've got probably almost 2 miles of downhill. So you really can make a bit of hay, but you don't want to go too crazy. Obviously, we're on the Ultra Marathon, so we've got a long way to go. So just a quick look at the metrics on the screen now. The top left hand there, we've got our distance, which is currently at 1.14 miles. I like to work in miles. And then just below that we've got our speed, which is currently 7 miles an hour. And then below that we've got our live pace, which is just over 9-minute miling at the minute. Then in the top right hand there we've got our feet above sea level, which is currently 400 feet. I think we did get up to about 500 feet after that first hill, having started probably about 200 feet above sea level. We've then got our slope there, which is minus 5, minus 6 at the minute. So we're going downhill. Then below that we've got our current heart rate, which is 130, so that's pretty low. We're doing quite well at the minute. Obviously that will go up and down depending on how hard I'm working at the time. So just looking at our pace now, we're just under the 9-minute miling, so that's a good steady pace. We have been going downhill for the last couple of miles, so we've made the most of that, and we've got through Cornish Farm. We're now on the concrete track, making our way towards Belle Tout and the first aid station.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.
So just thanking the marshals at the aid station. They're doing a really good job looking after us. Yeah, I didn't need to take anything there. I've got my ultra vest on with a couple of soft flasks, which are still pretty full. I've got plenty of chews and gels on board, so I don't need anything yet. So we're just about to cross the road and make our first ascent to the top of Beachy Head. It's about 2 miles. Of course, we've got to do this again at mile 28 to 29. So that's quite a tough finish to this ultra. So just checking in with our pace now. We've just crept over the 12-minute miling. Yeah, obviously it's quite a climb to the top of Beachy Head. So yeah, and also we want to conserve a bit of energy. We've still got quite a long way to go. The heart rate is at 150, so I am working quite a bit harder. Looking at the elevation there, it's saying yeah, I think that's gone a bit skew-whiffy. I think maybe because we're near the edge of the cliff, maybe the GPS has thrown off a bit. But I'm sure as we start to veer more inland, that should correct itself. I think there was a little bit of a lag as well, but we do seem to be over the 200 feet now, so that looks a bit more like it. But I should imagine by the time we get to the top of Beachy Head, we should be nearer the 500. Skipping forward now, yeah, that's looking more like it. We're at 420 feet, so we've made quite a climb. So we've almost finished our climb to the top of Beachy Head. We're just about to run past the Beachy Head Hotel pub, and we're at 510 feet of elevation. Yeah, so quite a bit of climbing, a good bit of work done there, and we've just managed to increase our pace now to just over 9-minute miling as the 5-mile point just pops up, and we've managed to do that in 53 minutes and 51 seconds. So that's pretty good. We've tried to conserve a bit of energy, and now we've just got just over a marathon to do. So the conditions aren't too bad today. The wind's not too strong and it's not been too cold. The odd bit of drizzle, you can see a bit on the camera lens there. There's quite a bit of low-lying cloud and it is really foggy. Hoping that that'll clear up as we run round the course, because there's some really stunning scenery, so it'd be a shame not to pick that up on camera. So the ultra marathon started an hour and 5 minutes before the marathon, and we've been running for about that time now, so the marathon is just about to get underway. Now some of those fast runners will be coming by us probably in the next mile or two. Yeah, these guys can do this course in sub 3, which is pretty amazing. I mean, a sub 3 on a flat course is a really good time, let alone with 3,500 feet of elevation on trail. Yeah, so it'd be quite a spectacle. It'd be good to see those fast runners go by. It'd be quite interesting to see.
Where am I going?
So we're just approaching the second aid station at Jevington.
Hey, thanks, mate.
We're just thanking the marshals there. We're not going to take anything on board again because we've still got plenty of water and food. But yeah, we lost about 200 feet of elevation coming down into Jevington. It's a real flinty, cobbly path, which was a bit damp. You had to be a bit careful. As the 10-mile split pops up, we're at 1:44.37, so that's pretty good. That's about 10.5-minute miling. So yeah, hopefully we can keep that going. We're having to climb again. We're already up to 400 feet. This is quite a climb. This is really rutty and flinty, so you have to be a bit careful here as well. It's quite tough. Quite a few people just walking this one. So I've just passed a couple of my club mates, which was nice. We've had a quick catch up. They're running well. They're also doing the ultra marathon as we just approach the top of this hill, and we're going to make our descent down into Alfriston Forest. So the Beachy Head Marathon is a local race for me. I've done the marathon 6 times now, I think, and I've done the half marathon 2 or 3 times. So I thought this year I'll change it up a bit and just tick that box and get the ultra marathon done. Yeah, I'm so lucky to have this race on my doorstep. It's such a great route, lovely scenery. The camaraderie with all the runners is really good. It's such a sociable race and really enjoyable. It's been quite a steady descent down into Alfriston Forest, but this last section's quite steep. It's minus 13%. And it's muddy and quite slippery underfoot, so I've got to be careful, make sure I don't slip over. Although this guy who's just gone by has gone for it, and he's having fun.
Morning. Thank you.
So we've just run over the top of the long man of Wilmington, and we've just dropped down into the valley, running alongside the Cuckmere River into Alfriston. So we've now dropped down to our lowest point so far. We're at 30 feet above sea level, so that can only mean one thing. We're going to have quite a bit of climbing to do soon. As our 15th mile split pops up, we've done that in 2 hours and 35 minutes, which is pretty good. I think that averages at about 10-20 minute miling, so that's pretty good. And we're just starting to climb now to the highest point of this route, which is Peep. I think that's 600 feet above sea level. And it's nice to bump into another running friend, just having a quick chat as she runs through. She's on the marathon and she's going for it. She's on a good run. So I know this route quite well, and I've decided to use this incline to have a good refuel. I've had a Voom bar and a couple of other snacks and a good amount of water, so I'm all fueled up ready for the next section. So at this point I also decided to get my new running poles out and give those a try and have a bit of a practice. I don't really need them for this race, but there is a race that I'm doing next year that I certainly will need them for, and it's a good opportunity to practice with them.
Okay. Is Gary doing it, is he?
No.
Ah.
No, he's up at...
So we've just passed the 20 mile mark in 3 hours and 31 minutes 45 seconds. Pretty good. Still keeping up a decent pace. We've just come down from the highest point of this route, about 600 feet at Peep, and we're now climbing down back into the Cuckmere Haven and Litlington. The last couple of miles have been really muddy, similar to this. Some of it's been even worse though, like ankle deep in mud and water. Up until that point I was pretty clean, but couldn't go round it. I had to just go right through the middle of it, but I suppose that adds to the fun of a trail run. And the views are improving now. The low cloud and fog has lifted, and we're just going past the Rathfinny wine estate as we drop down into Litlington. As I approached this field gate, I realised there was a familiar face, a club mate Darren, who was marshalling. So that was some welcome support and a boost. So just looking at the dashboard, I can see we're still keeping a decent pace. We're under that 10-minute miling, which is pretty good. In fact, we've kept a pretty good pace for the first 20 odd miles. It's all been pretty runnable and we've kept moving pretty well. But we are going to get to a point where the course gets a little bit more technical. There's some staircases cutting the hills and stiles, quite a few hills to come, so it's all going to get a bit bitty and a bit slower. So talking of slow, we've just got to Litlington and there's a blockage. We've got a mini bus and an ambulance that have wedged themselves in and blocked the road. So there's a queue of runners waiting to get through. But it's one of those things, it took a couple of minutes for that to clear, and we just crossed the aid station just before this hill, and I'm just making my way up the hill, taking the opportunity to get some nutrition in, a few snacks and some water, and we're back on our way again.
Thanks a lot. Cheers. Thank you.
So after climbing up from Litlington and dropping down into West Dean and through some of Alfriston Forest, we've been treated to some cracking views of the Cuckmere Haven and the meanders. This is a tough hill now, climbing up alongside the Cuckmere Haven from Exeat. Quite a few runners are having to run-walk. I will be too, as this course gets even tougher. I'm still moving quite well, but my quads have grumbled a little bit. I'm staying on top of my hydration and electrolyte levels to help stop any cramp coming in. I've just seen another couple of my club mates, so we've had a quick catch up and they're doing really well. So we're just going to drop down to sea level again before making our climb up to the first of the Seven Sisters. Things are going to get pretty brutal now. There's continuous climbing all the way along the coast, over those Seven Sisters, over Beachy Head, all the way to the finish. As we climb higher, I take the opportunity to take in some more of the views over the Cuckmere Haven. Just on the other side of the Cuckmere there is the Coast Guard cottages, which are quite famous due to the Microsoft wallpapers. You may well have seen those pop up on your computer in the past. So the 25-mile split has just popped up and we've been running for 4 hours and 36 minutes. Yeah, we have slowed down a little bit, but the course is getting pretty tough now. We're creeping towards that marathon distance. Yeah, so we're just knuckling down, getting it done, making sure that we get that nutrition in, look after our bodies and make sure that we enjoy the views as they come. So we've almost reached the top of the first Seven Sister. These chalk cliffs start at Seaford, the Cuckmere haven, and work along the coast towards Eastbourne. All these cliffs have got names, and they should pop up on the screen as we reach them.
Thanks a lot.
Get to the bottom.
Well, that's it. That's the Seven Sisters done. We're just running down into Birling Gap now. There's about 4 miles to go. There's always quite a good support down here, which is a welcome boost. There's a couple of car parks so friends and family can get down here to support. Yeah, I'm still moving quite well. I'm sort of hovering around that 10-minute miling, which is good. Yeah, it's a case of trying to keep moving because I know I've got Beachy Head coming, that 2 miles, which is going to be quite a slog. Yeah, so I've got to pick my battles and keep going and keep my head down until the finish. So I haven't set a time goal today. I just want to come in between the 6 and 7 hours. I just want to make sure that I enjoy the run and just experience those ultra distances. But I would prefer to come in closer to that 6 hour mark if I can.
You made it.
Alright mate, once you're up to the pub, yeah, that's it, yeah. You're golden, then, yeah. You're around, okay. Oh yeah, I'm sure you'll probably overtake me up here somewhere. Yeah.
With the view coming down to the finish is hard to beat. You can hear all the support down there waiting to cheer every finisher. I've got half a dozen runners near me. Can I go past a few and gain some places before the finish? There are two routes down, either concrete steps to the left or mud steps to the right. I'm going left, but have I made the right choice? Everyone seems to be going right, so it's not looking good. They seem to be bottlenecked that side, so I've managed to slip past a few. Everyone seems to be hobbling their way down this hill. It is steep, it does batter your toes. Let's get to those bollards first and try and muster a sprint for the crowd.
So that's it, Beachy Head Ultra 2024 done.
So it turns out I was given the marathon medal at the finish. Fortunately one of my running friends noticed, so I managed to get that swapped over. So I originally signed up to do the marathon, but with 3 or 4 weeks to go I decided to go for the ultra, and I'm glad I did enjoy it. So looking at the official results, my chip time was 6 hours 2 minutes and 16 seconds, and I finished 90th out of 229. Yeah, I was quite pleased with that. I think the goal was to get between 6 and 7 hours. I suppose I was pretty close to getting into the 5s in the end, so I suppose that was a bit of a shame, but I was quite pleased. The split for the marathon was under the 5, so that was good. Yeah, I enjoyed the run, and it was a good experience for the ultra distance. If you're thinking of running the Beachy Head Marathon or Ultra Marathon, I hope this video gives you a good idea of what to expect. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.